Did I tell you about the podcast with the biggest mistakes that yoga teachers make?
Yes. It sounds familiar. Remind me
Okay.
though.
Anyway, okay, and that's kind of the point. Okay, so the yoga teacher that has like influenced me the most is Jason Crandall. He's from the Midwest, he's from Ohio. He's just kind of like same brain as me a lot in the way he teaches. But he had a great podcast. He's been teaching for maybe 25 years or so, and he's like, but it's like the five common mistakes that like even the most veteran yoga teachers make. Okay. And I won't go through all of them, but the first one was that it's like this need to always create new sequences
Mm,
because like my biggest fear, like my biggest insecurity is that you guys are going to get bored, right? Like, gotta keep it fresh. This is like, this is common. Like, if you sit two yoga teachers down, they're like, what is your biggest fear? Boredom, right?
yeah.
So that's why I'm always like, new sequences, that's going to keep you. But he goes on to this whole thing that, like, it kind of sometimes keeps us from seeing our progress because you don't remember the last time you did Hanuman or first split, And
Mm,
if you actually did it a couple practices in a row, you might feel the difference, or something like that. Okay.
yeah.
So, and then the second thing he said is that we don't leave enough time for silence. And he also fully blamed Zoom. I can tell that my comfortability with silence has really changed because I want there to be this like stream so that you know that you still have a connection, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh my God, what happened? Is she still there? But so as we try to repeat poses today, first time I'll talk, second time I'll try to be a little bit more quiet so you can have that space. Because also sometimes, like with me being like right next to you, like word for word for word for word, breath for breath for breath, it's like I'm not letting you have your own experience. It's like I'm gonna get in on this experience with you the
Yeah.
whole time. Okay. So
Yeah.
that is
Just
a
learn
little
it.
bit what we're gonna try to do. Okay. So take your strap. And the good news is that on Friday, I think we're going to be back at our 10 o'clock time. And we will have a longer class and it will be very similar to this. Like, I am not going to reinvent this wheel that much for the next couple classes. Okay. So, as you come to lie down, bottoms of your feet together, knees wide apart, eyes closed. Okay. Our anatomical focus is going to be inner leg, adductors, and the hamstring. And our theme is also not going to change. Dissolve the feeling of being separate, being just in the mind, or even just with breath. See if you can get them kind of all to feel like they're interweaving, interconnected, and really merging together. Inhale, exhale. Arms out to the side, palms turn up. Straighten your front right leg. Glue your left foot up into your right thigh like a tree pose. Okay. So I lift the knee, I lift the foot until I really get it to feel like tree pose, meaning that I'm pushing my right femur bone in, stepping my left foot firmly. And now make sure you keep that right hip down, and that's going to be like internal core strength. Imagine a block or a tennis ball underneath your left knee, and see how much you can press that left knee down, turning your right hip away from the left knee, allowing that to open. Release, step your right foot back in, bottoms of your feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana. And then lengthen and extend your left leg. Don't use your hand, just pick up that right foot and push it right into your upper left leg. Okay, so there is a ton of benefit of taking the balance out of this pose and getting some real honest feedback on alignment. And this side, because I remember I had that hip injury, it is way different. Like if I'm going to try to keep my left hip down and not move through the pelvis and really just open through that right knee, okay, I feel a lot of work happening in the deep core muscles. And then think that some energy wraps around the knee from your outer right knee into the pinky edge side of that right foot as you really press it together and try to widen that right knee down towards the floor. And then release and step that left foot back in, bottoms of the feet together, knees wide apart. Keep the pinky edge sides of your feet on the floor. Lift your hips up. Okay, lift your hips up off the mat. And as you do that, please press through the pinky edge side of your feet. Try to drag your heels towards your heart and keep widening your knees open. Inhale. Exhale. Put your hips down. Lengthen and extend your right leg. And then this time, grab a hold of your left knee and pull it up and out to the side. Okay? I'm going to take my left arm on the inside edge of that left knee. Try to press it forward and down, and then stretch my right arm out to the side. So we do this type of stuff, right, Claire, when we do like Skandhasanas, when we do like Malasanas, we use the back of the arm to spread across the chest and stretch through the hips and stretch through the legs. Good. Release. You should maybe start to feel some heat in the hips. Bottoms of your feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana. Lift the hips up and again squeeze. Yep, we're going to actually try to make this like a little bit tiring, a little bit hard. Pull the heels, engage the hamstrings, think to tighten up the muscles around the sitting bones as you inhale. And then exhale, lower your hips back down to the mat. Good. Extend your left leg forward. And then with your right hand, pick up that right knee, draw it up towards your right armpit. Yeah. And then right forearm, inside edge of the right knee, widen it open. Yep. As your left arm extends. So especially on this side for me, I start to get hip rotation. I really have to work to anchor through outer left hip, outer left ribs, outer shoulder. Good morning, Maria, to get that stretch through the inner right leg. And then please come back to center, bottoms of your feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana. Okay, and so we have a strap nearby, Maria, just in case you don't. Okay, yeah. And then to keep taking this deeper, bottoms of your feet together, lift your hips up, please. Yeah. Drag the heels. Take your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hips down. Our action is straightening your right leg forward. Yep. Left knee. Pull it up towards your left armpit. Good, you guys. And then take your strap across the ball of that left foot. You're gonna hold the inside of that loop and now straighten your leg up and out to the side. Good. Take your right arm, reach it away from you in a counter rotation. So just so you know, Maria, we started on our back in free pose. Okay. And then where you joined, we started by pulling the knee up towards the armpit and pressing the leg open. And then this is our biggest expression. It's our last one here. Feeling that your right leg will be your standing leg, your spine is tall. And today's whole class is about stretching the inseam of the legs. Good. Please pull that leg back to center. Hold on to the loop with both hands. And then you guys decide how much you just want to go down the middle of your mat with the pure hamstring stretch here. Good. For 3. Integrate into the pose for 2. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, release. Bend both knees. Last time, bottoms of your feet together. Really close your knee joint, you guys, right? So make sure that your heels are as close into your hips as possible. And then you're going to lift your hips up and squeeze. Good. I really try to, I know my sitting bones are not actual balls, but I try to think like kind of 360 degrees, tightening all the muscles around my sitting bones, inner, outer, front, back, squeeze, and then release. Great. Left leg extends forward. It kind of looks like tree pose. Then the right knee pulls up towards your right armpit, knees bend, and then put the strap over the ball of your right foot and extend it up and out. Okay. And then here, I always look away from my right foot. When I look away from my right foot, it helps to remind me to turn my left shoulder down, my left ribs, especially those back left ribs, connect them, the outer left hip. And this is called supine because you're on your back. Padangusthasana. We're going to do this from standing, you guys. Stretch out through your legs and then come back to center. Hold on to that strap with both hands and then down the midline. Get length through the entire, good, Maria, go through the entire back of that hamstring. Right sitting bones forward. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Bend both knees. Hold and pull your knees into your chest. Hold, squeeze here. Yep. Good. And then go ahead, get your little rock forward, you guys. Take kind of a couple of them. And then you're going to shift forward. Tabletop position. Big toes come together to touch. Back of your mat. Knees should be a little bit wider, right? Out on that 45-degree angle. And then please push your hip all the way back towards your heel. Lift up, inhale. Now start to connect with breath. Exhale, push the hips back. Use your knees like you're gonna widen your mat apart. One more, inhale forward. And exhale, nice deep hip hinge. And then as you stay there, stretch the mat apart with your knees, widen your sitting bones, feel your upper thighs get even wider here as your chest melts through. Good. Shift up. Tabletop position. Okay. From tabletop, right foot steps out 45 degrees. So that's kind of like when you're bringing that right knee up towards your armpit. Good. And then with your toes in your right knee face out, can you walk your hands forward off the top of your mat and start to fold in on the inside edge, right down the middle of the mat. And then can you do a little cow pose. A little cow pose to feel your inner upper right thigh roll down and up and back. Right, so it's on that inner thigh connection here. Hands walk back up underneath your shoulders. Tabletop. And left foot steps out, left knee's bent 45 degrees out to the side. Left knee over your left ankle. Square that off, press down into your left heel and extend your spine and arms forward. So it's going to be really common for all of us to feel we're kind of being pulled into a posterior cat pose. So I want you to try to kind of counter that by trying to do cow pose through the hip. And you should feel your inner upper right thigh roll down and widen up and back. Inhale. Exhale, keep releasing the spine down, try to sink in. Hands come back underneath your shoulders, tabletop. And then from your tabletop, downward facing dog, but keep your feet, you guys, as wide as your mat. And exaggerate the internal rotation of your upper thigh. So press your heels out more. It's really like, I think it's called like pigeon toed, right? Really kind of pigeon toe. Feel that your inner knee is spiraling up towards the ceiling and your inner thighs are rolling up and back. Yeah, Claire, good. Okay. Then we have one little last part of our warm up here. Put your knees down, tabletop. And so the point is to take things deeper the second time. Right foot out, knee starts bent, right? That's how we started on our back. And now please straighten and extend your right leg out to the side. Okay. And then walk your arm all the way forward here. Okay, guys, so even me, when you visually look at me, my hips are in posterior tuck, but that does not mean that I'm still not very actively trying to take my hips into cow pose, into anterior. Yeah, and getting more length and more extension from the spine. Yeah, inner thigh is going to constantly roll down today. Inhale. Exhale. Hands walk back underneath your shoulders. Hold that back leg in. And then left foot out to the side, 45 degrees. Lengthen and extend. Square up your hips and square up your shoulders. Yeah, and then extend forward. So, wait, maybe Maria, not so much for you because like you're in sweatpants, but like I always think of this practice like the seam that runs all the way up the inside of my yoga leggings, like that's where I'm trying to stretch, really to pull that all the way up and back, and let your torso drop down in it. Inhale. Exhale, bring that back to center, tabletop, and downward facing dog, but please take that like a little bit wider today, right? Maybe a little more pigeon-toed. And you're going to feel that your pubic bone is actually able to really, really, really pull through your inner thighs up and back. Look forward and big step, top of your mat wide, right? So it's 1, 2. That should feel pretty normal. We do that hands to shins, inhale, open. I'm going to keep my fingertips on the floor. You can always turn your feet out, 45-degree angle as you squat down. Good. Hands at your heart center. Nice, Maria. Use your elbows to widen open. And now, like we were doing, you guys, take your left fingertips to the floor. Use that left forearm to widen your left knee open and extend right arm up towards the ceiling. That was basically what you did at the beginning of class. And you felt how you could get both shoulders and the back of the head on the floor simultaneously. Come back to center, Yes, change sides. Please stay in it. Right fingertip, left arm opens up and out. How do the shoulders feel when you're on the floor? The back of the head. Line that up and then come back to center. Hands in front of the heart. Dig down into your heels. Press to rise. Good. Okay. Parallel your feet. Circle your arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Fold out over your legs. Uttanasana. Okay. Little bend to your knees. Now keep bending your knees. Sit your bum all the way to the floor. Bottoms of your feet together. Knees wide apart. Butterfly Navasana. Pulling into your core there. Now you guys pull your knees as close to your armpits as possible. Reach and slide forward. Small little compact toes for 3, 2, 1. Good. Cross your ankles, plant your palms. Stretch back. Downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank pose. Exhale, bend elbows, come down onto the belly, just big general warm up. Inhale, focus on the feeling of opening the front of the spine, focusing, opening the chest, opening the shoulders. Press back, downward facing dog. Feel free, you guys, today to keep it wide and keep it pigeon-toed if it helps you to feel that feeling. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, one more time, you guys, but a little bit faster. Step it forward wide. Hands to chins. Inhale, open. Exhale, fold in. Try to get your ribs to your thigh. Feet can open 45 degrees as you squat down, Malasana. And I always just like to switch sides. Start with your right forearm, opening that right knee, and take your left arm up. Remember how much we were squeezing the butt muscles to open the knee. If you want a little more, bend your left elbow, cup the head. Yep. And use that to twist through the ribs, to twist through the shoulders, to open your chest. Back through center. Stay low in your hips. It's actually really good for your low back, Maria, to stay down in here. Left fingertip. I try to remember what the floor felt like. Bend elbow, cup head. Rotate through ribs, rotate through elbow to open. Good. Come back to center. Strengthen the legs to press to stand. Parallel your feet. Inhale, arms up. Lengthen, reach for the fingertips. Look up, stretch the belly. Exhale, hips high. Drop down in and get your hamstrings here with wider legs. Yep, it's always a little easier. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Okay, and then as you bend your knees, sit down and back, bottoms of your feet together. Okay, now your big toes are right there. Can you grab your big toes in a yogic toe lock? And try to stretch your legs out. Now lift your chest and look up. Back bend. Yes, Maria, excellent. Cow pose. Pull on the toes, squeeze your butt. Split the legs open wider. Inhale. Exhale. Great, you guys. Bend knees, plant palm, step back, downward facing dog. Strong leg. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale, bend elbows. Please come straight down to the belly. Inhale, open. Cobra. Feel the tops of your thighs pressing down. Stretch it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Right leg lift, bend right knee, roll right hip open. So if you were able to join a little bit last week, you know that we were working the hip closed all last week. And that's what makes me feel like now this week, to keep it in balance, I really need to open the Step your right foot forward up in between your hands, lunge. Look forward. Left knee pulls in towards your chest as you step to stand. Now you did this on the floor. Left foot high up into your right thigh. Tree pose. Yeah. Yep. So that's how we started class. And you felt your right heel on the floor and both hips evenly on the floor. And how much you had to work pressing your left knee back without letting that right hip roll forward. And then let's take the full expression of the pose, arms up here, full tree. Good, lengthen it out. Left knee comes back to center, inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, runners drop. Good, I want you to go over the front right leg, you guys. Skandasana. Left toes turn open. Right knee is bent. If you want to use that right shoulder to keep opening the right knee as you open your arm. So these are our actions today, right? Keep trying to split your thigh bones open wide. Yes. Squeeze the butt muscles. Pivot, turn, top of your mat, low lunge. Back heel lift. Step back, downward facing dog. If you're feeling more ready for full vinyasa, inhale forward into plank. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale all the way, pull forward, up dog. Hips lift. Downward facing dog. Drop into feeling, drop into connection. In every pose today, I hope you can feel the inner thighs rolling internally and widening apart. So it's like your pubic bone has a lot of space to pull between the inner thighs. Left leg lift, bend left knee, roll left hip open. Okay. Can we see how this is so much just like a similar shape, right? Like you'd be using your left shoulder to press that left knee open. Yeah, Maria, good. And that's that action of lifting the left knee higher up towards the ceiling. Great. Step, left foot forward. So I think you were both kind of seeing that, like, you keep taking the shape, you're going in deeper. Hands to your hip as your right knee lifts up in towards your chest. Working lots of balance. Right foot high up into your left thigh. Tree pose. Wait until you feel the alignment of your hip and your shoulder like you're on the floor. And then try to widen that right knee open. I feel like if you try to widen the right knee open first, we move too much from our hips. And then when you're ready, arms lengthen up, full stretch here, full expression of the pose. Inhale. Exhale, right knee is going to come back to center. Runners drop. Low lunge, right leg goes all the way back, like at the beginning of class. That would be the right leg stretching forward towards the top of your mat when you were laying down. And now it's over your left leg, Skandasana. And like, Maria, this is right? This is like where you kind of joined in. Your right leg was the leg stretching away. Use the left shoulder, left forearm to try to open. Inhale. Exhale, throat back, head back without collapsing your chest. Pivot, turn, top of your mat, low lunge. Step back. downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, pull forward, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, roll over toes, hips up and back, Adho Mukha. Yeah. So now, even though I'm keeping my feet hip width distance apart, I'm pressing my heels out a little. I'm trying to keep that like pigeon-toed feeling. And pull, yes, Maria, good. Pull my pubic bone up and back between the inner thigh. Right leg lift, bend right knee, roll right hip open. Good. It's that left butt muscle, you guys. That's gonna help you. And then remember, like a forearm on that inner right knee to widen it. And then step right foot forward, up in between your hands, lunge. Good. Look forward, hands to hips as your left knee draws in towards your chest. Okay. Left leg out to the side. You can either use a strap or grab your left big toe in that yogic toe lock and stretch your right arm away and try to look towards your right thumb. 5. Feel it from how you felt it on the floor. There was this big heaviness through that right hip and right shoulder. 2. 1. Right hand at your right hip. Bring your left leg back to center. Remember when you brought it back to center, I said pull it in as much as you want. Try to fold in here, knee to nose, right down the middle, hamstring stretch. That's good, Maria. You can keep the core strength there. That's fine. And then everybody bend the knee, inhale, arms up, reach. Exhale, runners drop. Left foot back. Good. This time, straighten your front right leg. Spin your back left heel to flat. Use a block if you need it. Triangle pose. Okay. It's from the left leg. Yeah, that would be your back leg. Right leg would be the leg that you'd be pulling out to the side. And you'd be trying to roll your left hip open, your left ribs open. You try to stack your shoulders. And you would try to feel that long connection from the hips to the crown of your head. Inhale. Exhale, left fingertips down to the mat, bend the front knee, low lunge, step back, downward facing dog. Oh, yeah. Does it feel different in your legs, you guys? Down dog, Maria, take the hips up and back, right? Oh, yeah, just go straight to down dog. Kind of feel that there. There's like a huge difference between my legs right now. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, please pull forward, up dog, stretch the belly, open the chest. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. So you guys, let this be a big opening clap, okay? Left leg lift, bend left knee, roll left hip open. So I was trying to explain at the beginning of class, like what my teacher kind of said, biggest mistake is trying to do too many different types of movement in a class. Stick with one type of movement, and I know you can take that left knee higher, Maria. Split your legs open more. Yes, stretch the, yes, there we go. Yep, and so when you keep repeating, and then left foot steps all the way forward, up in between your hands, lunge. Good, hands to hip. Right knee in towards your chest. Okay. Then right knee comes out to the side. You're actually using your obliques a little to pull it up towards the armpit. And then use a strap if you need it. Or grab your right big toe in a yogic toe lock. And extend the right leg up and out. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. I'm going to work my hips. Build it from the ground up. Work my shoulders, work my neck and head. And then try to spread open into the pose. Very good, both of you. Now come back to center, left hand at the hip. If you want to try the stretching of the hamstring, fold in here. Yeah. Okay, and then as you release the big toe, knee bends, arms up, inhale. Exhale, runner's drop, right foot to the back of your mat. Long, low lunge. You can use blocks if you want them to straighten the front left leg first. Right, so it's a little bit different. Straighten the front left leg first, Maria. Left leg straight, use blocks if you need to. Spin your right heel to flat. Triangle pose. Do you feel your inner upper thighs rolling in, widening apart? Nice, Claire, good. Heart back, head back, throat back. When you were on the floor, how did this feel? Yeah. I think that looks a little bit better. Roll the shoulder blades down your back. Inhale. Exhale. Bend into your left knee as you plant both palms to step back knees. Downward facing dog. Feeling into the backs of your legs here, your Achilles tendons. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, feel the shoelaces. Feel the bottoms of your hands pushing into the floor as you open your chest. Downward facing dog. Good. Spin the heels open. Turn your inner knees up, turn your inner thighs up. Press your chest towards your thigh. Pubic bone leads. Pull the pubic bone up and back. Yes, Maria, good. Keep doing it that way. Yeah, pubic bone up and back, like it's being kind of pulled up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Knees down to the mat. Turn to face me. Baddha Konasana. Okay, bottoms of your feet together. Okay, so like I feel this as more limiting in my body, but for a lot of people, Baddha Konasana is actually easier. It's like everything else that we've been doing can actually be easier to start with the knees bent. Okay. So our hands are back behind us. You remember the beginning of class, the spine was tall. Press your knees down and back. Okay. Keep your legs, you guys, please. Left hand outside edge of right knee. Take a little twist. But when you twist, don't let that left knee lift up. Keep pressing it down. Widen that left thigh, Claire, down and back. Left thigh wide and down and back. Like I was stepping on the upper thigh. Come back through center and change sides. When you were on the floor, I asked you to squeeze your butt muscles a lot. Try to do that from here even. Good. Now come back to center and widen the legs. Okay. I'm going to take my hands. I'm going to manually internally rotate my thighs. So if you were not able to feel inner thighs rolling up and back, this is what's happening. My inner knee is down. My inner thigh is down. That should put your pubic bone closer and closer to the floor. Good. With your pubic bone as close to the floor as you can get it. Fold in here. Upavishta Konasana. One more. Remember when you had the forearms pressing the legs open wider? Remember when you were kind of like pulling on the toes and pulling the chest through? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Good. Use your hands a little here, you guys. Help the knees in. And then as you turn forward, okay, bottoms of your feet together, knees wide apart. Now sit up if you need to and interlace, interdigitate your fingers over the pinky edge side of your feet. And I really try to press my feet together. And then I drop my head and I press the backs of my shoulders. And by arching my spine, by lifting my low back, right? I put that pressure, that tension to press the knees forward, and then splitting your feet, happy baby pose. The same thing as when we were taking the knees out at the 45-degree angle. Ankles right over the knee. Inhale. Exhale. Don't move anything. Straighten that right leg out to center, like out of the 45-degree angle. Yeah, sorry, correct. Yeah, that was a bad cue. Okay, good. Do not let that left hip lift up off the mat. Come back to center. This is like when we were kind of like in our tabletop position. And then you were extending your left leg out. Come back to center. Grab your big toes in a yogic toe lock. Open both legs out wide. Roll your pubic bone forward. Right? Lift your low back. Press your shoulders down. Pull on your big toes. Imagine the inseam of your yoga pants getting, yes, Maria, good, getting longer and longer and longer. Head down, shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees, you guys. Squeeze them in. Maybe rock a little bit from left hip to right hip. Okay, and then our final pose will just be thread the needle. Okay, put your left ankle over your right knee and draw that right knee towards your chest. Okay, because yeah, you might need that as a little bit of like a counterbalance. So Maria, I'm gonna try to move Friday to 10 o'clock this week. And we're gonna keep doing a lot of this, okay? I'm gonna try not to like change up the sequencing so much for a little bit so that maybe we can feel some progress as this stuff really actually starts to open. Now, keep your legs exactly as they are, you guys. Remove your hands, step your right foot into the mat, and take a figure 4 bridge, okay? Lift your hips up. I don't want you to have to hold for long, okay? But I just want you to reopen your chest. Squeeze the glutes, let that left knee kind of fall down into the negative space. And then release. Okay, when we do a class like that, you just always want to make sure that you really counterbalance stuff a little bit. Right ankle over the top of your left knee. Thread your hand through, please. Take your thread the needle. Okay. Pubic bone is pulling forward through your inner thighs. That never changes. Arms out to the side, left foot steps down into the mat. And please lift your hips up into the figure 4 bridge. Let your right knee drop down into the negative space. and then release. Hips to the mat, both feet step down, and then open your arms, open your legs. For Shavasana. Mm. See if you can feel the blood flow. Hopefully a little bit of a difference on the inseam of your leg. And now I'm going to be quiet as you take Shavasana. Inhale. Exhale. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch the arms up and over. Inseam of the legs, inseams of the arms. It's the connection to the root of the big toe. It's the connection to like the root of the thumb and the index finger as they stretch back. And then bending your knees. Roll to your right. Press up and find seated. Okay, guys, and then just kind of see as you sit here in Siddhasana, right? If that feels any easier, if the knees feel any closer to the floor, and or that you could get your spine taller. Let the hands folded in front of your heart center. You feel your shoulders back on the floor, back behind you, thumbs to your third eye, bowing forward to seal your practice. Jai, Siddhasana.